You are tuned in to the Gift of Gab podcast, a podcast where we are intentionally growing, accepting, and becoming the best version of ourselves. We focus on all things healing, wellness, spirituality, self-development, and bettering our relationship with ourselves and others. In every episode, we'll be reflecting on lessons learned through past experiences, setting goals, and helping each other reach our fullest potential. I am your host, Gabrielle Ariana, and welcome to this week's episode. Hello, welcome back. It's been a minute since I have been on here, since I've recorded, since I've even sat down and just decided to even continue my podcast. So much has been going on. One thing about life is just it's going to life, literally. And that can be in the most best, beautiful, positive, uplifting ways. And it can be in other ways where it's very challenging and you're just questioning, like, what is all this for? Why is this happening? Can we skip to the good part, And so, yeah, what was supposed to have been a 3-week, maybe a month little break turned into months of a break that I did not prepare. I didn't even plan for it. I did not plan to not have been recording and releasing episodes for my podcast for as long as I have gone without recording. I was expecting to take a little break, after being so consistent and releasing for 10 episodes back to back. Then just so much has happened, and what turned into 3 weeks, turned into a month, turned into 2 months, turned into 3 months, and so now we're here. Just so much has been going on in my life, and just so much happening in the world, and it's crazy, honestly. It's been a lot. So I feel like I have to get used and get back into the groove of things, of recording, because this feels very it feels comfortable, but still I have to get back into the hang of things. But I'm grateful to be here in this moment. So yeah, life has just been lifing. And for me, I've just kind of have this realization of the fact that life just really does happen to you fast, and you just never know where life is going to take you. You never know where you're going to end up in life, whom you're going to come across, who you're going to meet, and what types of things that are going to happen that are going to mold you and shape you into this person that you are, but also the person you're becoming. This is what we're talking about here on this podcast, is becoming, because we are consistently always becoming something. And it's the very things that happens in life that, that really, that plays the huge role into what you're becoming and who this person is that you're becoming. And for me, I feel like life has been taking so many ups and downs and so much in my life consistently within the past year. I think I've grown so much and have experienced so many things that I've never thought I would have experienced at all just within this past year. 2023 really did its big ones. Since last year, I would say, honestly, since 2022 as well. Some stuff, a lot has been happening. Yeah, I've experienced so many things. I talked about previous episode about where I thought my life would be at, where I'm at, based off of how old I am. I've completed 26 years here. I'm in my 26th year, and I just thought my life would be so much different than what it is now, and it's completely just not what I thought it was going to be. And full transparency, I'm in a stage of really trying to figure out what is it that I really want out of life, what is it that I really want to do, and what is it that I'm willing to do to get me to that point of being content, of really doing something that is enjoyable to me. And it's just been so much. Your girl has lost a job, got a new job, lost that job, trying to find a job, been displaced, and just so much. It's been crazy how much my life has just took a complete 180 in ways that I didn't think that it would. And also, I just always think that yes, in life things elevate and you're wanting to excel and you want the good times, But being in these experiences and in these times of where I was once homeless, where I didn't have a job, didn't have income, didn't have anything, like any real stability, I had to find gratitude in those times and really be finding appreciation to what I do have. And like, you know, to know that it could have been worse, but I'm still good at the end of the day. I'm still having the things I really, really, really need to survive and be able to sustain and really build myself up to continuously have the encouragement to continue on and to just not give up. And that's really what I feel like life has been teaching me currently in these past like year to 2 years, is to just really not give up and to keep fighting the big fight and just keep going and keep, you know, striving for more, but really to just honestly open my horizons to the unknown. And I feel like because I've always been a planner and I've always been someone who likes to know what's happening next. I like to have some type of idea, some type of something to go off of, something to look forward to, like something that now I've been in this point where I don't even have that. My only thing that I have to go off is the fact that I know God is going to be with me and God is with me, and that whatever it is that is happening in my life and that is going to happen is for my greater good, and it's just to get me to wherever it is that I'm going. And I can have my own plans and dreams and aspirations and things in place or in mind as I'm continuing to live my life, navigate life, and I can, you know, set forth intentions for myself and for my life. However, I have to leave room for the unknown. I have to leave room for things to happen in a way that is obviously going to be uncomfortable for me. It's going to be unfavorable. However, that's just how it had to happen. And either way, I'm still getting to where I'm trying to go. I'm still always at the right place at the right time. I'm still always in this point of my life where I'm supposed to be at, because this point is taking me to the next point, and so on and so forth. And yeah, like I just feel like so much is happening in my life. I have experienced so many different things. I've always been a very, very independent person. I've always been someone who is dependable for other people. People can depend on me and rely on me for things. I've never had to depend on anyone else for anything. So I went from being that type of person to now having to vocalize when I need help, now having to depend on other people and allow people the space to help me and be there for me. And I have to allow myself that space and be comfortable with saying, hey, I need help. And for me, that's been very challenging. It's been very hard because I've literally experienced my entire life always being the person that people can come to, that people can, you know, go to for anything, and always being a helping hand, always for everyone else, to never really having to vocalize needing help. Even if I did need help, I would always figure it out on my own. And God has put me in this position in this time of where it's like, it's time for you to allow people to help you. It's time for you to experience what it's like to even receive help, and to see how the people that are in my life actually do care about me and are willing and wanting to, you know, be there for me. And it's been a very beautiful feeling, a very, very beautiful feeling. It's still challenging though, because it's just me debunking all of these mindsets that I've had because of just how my life was, and how it still kind of is in certain areas. But, you know, that's been one main thing, is just really so many things happening that's putting me in this position to receive help, and also just kind of go with life with ease, and, you know, say, hey, I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know anything. Like, literally, I don't know anything. But the only thing that I do know is that, you know, whatever it is, I'm going to be okay regardless. And everything is happening the way it's supposed to be happening, because if it wasn't supposed to be happening this way, it wouldn't have happened this way. But yeah, that's been a small portion of it. Life has it's been lifing. And I feel like, you know, we have these ideas and these expectations of life and what it's going to look like, and at where you're going to be at certain points of life, who's going to be in your life, and then it just doesn't be any of those things, and then it's just like one thing after another and after another and after another, and you just feel so defeated that it's like, what is the point of me even continuing doing all this? Like, what is this for? And I'm trying to shift this mindset of like, why is this happening to me, to why is this, like, what is this teaching me? What am I learning in these moments, in these trying times, in these very humbling times, and these times where I just feel so defeated that I just want to give it up, that I just want to, you know what, I just want to throw the towel in, wave the white flag, and keep it pushing, because if this is what it's going to be, then I don't want to do it. I don't want to experience it. I don't want to keep living like this. And I know there's a saying that people tend to say, especially when stuff is like traumatic or like unfavorable happening, that will be like, oh, well, life goes on. And I'm just like, yeah, life, it goes on, right? That's the point of life, is to continue on, to go on. But life doesn't have to go on like this, right? It doesn't have to go on this way. And this can be applied in anything, right? Like, for myself, it's just been so much. Like, I feel like when I get a sense of self, and I get this sense of confidence, and I start to really, you know, dive into, like, you know, whatever it is that I'm wanting to do, whatever plans I've had set, or I'm getting some sense of a strong stability and security. It's just big mountainous rocks getting thrown at me, and I'm just like, okay, now I'm feeling defeated. Now I feel like life is just pushing me under this bus and rolling over it and driving over me 50 million times, and then as soon as I get back up, another little small pebble hitting me in the head and bringing me back down. So it's like, yeah, life is going on, but it's not going on in a way that's favorable to me. It's not going on in a way that I want, that I don't want to live my life like this, right? I don't want to have to continuously experience defeat and feel as if I have to, like, it's me versus life at this point. And I've just been trying to figure out, like, okay, life is going to go on, but I don't want my life to go on like this. I don't want to continuously be in these fight or flight. I don't want to continuously be unstable, not unsecure. It's literally so much. And a lot of the things are like out of my control, of the sense of like the fact that the life that, you know, the world that we're in and the times that we're in are because of other people and the structures and things that they have, and systems, the systematic things that they already have in place, that it's like you're almost fighting against yourself, you're fighting against the world, you're fighting against all these things that's out of your control. And it's like, all I can do is manage what I am in control of and pray for God to make room and space for the things that I am not, and to make those things favorable to me. But like, how do I build up this courage to keep going, to keep trying, to keep wanting to actually live and experience life? And this is kind of going to transition over to something else, which is like, what is your why? Like, what is my why that is keeping me wanting to continuously living life, and having to face these defeats, having to experience these challenges, and having to grow in so many ways based off, and grow in so many ways that resulted, or was the cause of so many things unfavorable happening to me. And that's pretty much where I've been at. Like, I could really transition this into like a finding your why. Like, what is your why in life? What is it that's keeping you going? What is it that's keeping you motivated? What is it that is really pushing you to live life? Because I feel like life is so hard. I'm not gonna say life is hard. Life can be hard, and life can also be very beautiful and very blissful and just amazing and great and the most favorable. But, you know, we live in a world where there's duality. So where there's good, there's bad. Where there's ups, there's downs. Where there's positivity, there's negativity. And life is all of those things. So you can't live a life of just one. We live a life of experiencing both. And when you're experiencing more of the unfavorable than the favorable, it really makes you like question, like, okay, so then is this a life that's worth living? Or should I just throw in the tile? Like, what is this for? What am I gaining? And I'm learning to reach my mind further than where my current circumstances and my current reality is. That's been what's really been my why, and what's been really keeping me going is the fact that I know, like, my current reality and my current circumstance, my current state of where I'm currently at, whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, you know, personally, etc. I've seen it, and I know that it's a better on the other. There's so much light at the end of this tunnel. There is so much bliss and beautifulness and fruitfulness and favorable things and experiences and times that are going to happen for me. And that's really been my why and what's been motivating me and keeping me in good spirits. But it's very, very easier said than done. It is extremely hard and it's extremely challenging to build up the courage to wake up and even live your life when you know, like, your current reality is not favorable, and it's not really, it's really what's keeping you in this funk, and it's what's keeping you kind of feeling defeated, because you can close your eyes and see one picture, but when you open your eyes, you're experiencing a complete different one. But I'm just kind of, you know, shifting this mindset, and I'm really trying to allow myself to know, like, yes, those you experience one and you're seeing one when you close your eyes. This is one that you're striving towards, you're envisioning, and you have that vision for a reason. I have this visions of what my life is going to be like, and it's not to say it's going to look exactly like that, but I know it's going to be a good percentage of it, and God's going to add that other percentage and make it better, of course, and expand that, you know, that vision that I have. But my current one that when I wake up and I start experiencing is not my most favorable. I'm very grateful to be here and where I'm at, but again, it's not my most favorable, and it kind of makes me feel defeated. Like, okay, well, my life is lifing in an unfavorable way right now, but I know that it's going to life in a very favorable way soon in the future. It's just, what am I learning right now in this time? What is life teaching me? And I know, like, when people say life be life, and they say it in the most, like, it's typically something you're saying when something unfavorable is happening to you, and just your life is in an unfavorable state, chapter, segment. And when I'm saying these for words, because that means it's a part, right? It's not the biggest, it's not the big picture, it's not the full length of the movie. This one section of this movie, or this one chapter of this book is unfavorable, but who's to say that the rest of the book is not going to be the most favorable, and you get to experience all the beautiful things and all the most blissful things in your life, in the book that is your life. And that's what I'm telling myself, but that's also what I know to be true. It's what I believe to be true, because I'm a very optimistic person, and I know that I don't even want a life that is only blissfulness and beautiful things all the time. And I'm not just saying that I want the most, you know, horrible traumatic experiences, but I have learned to appreciate duality of life. And I've learned to also find the beauty in all the ugliness, or find the positivity in all the negativity. And I know that me and my core, being such a positive, blissful, beautiful, you know, optimistic person, I kind of bring that to the negativity in the world, but also to negative things or unfavorable things that happens in my life. Because I can have unfavorable things happening to me, but I'm a very favorable, highly favored person, and I bring that balance, so where I'm experiencing both, even in the times that it may physically be unfavorable or just something challenging, and I'm just like, okay, this is really making me feel defeated. But I know me, to my core, I am always the favor. I am always that light at the end of my own tunnel, even when I'm still in the tunnel. Like, I'm the light that's going through the tunnel, that once I reach the light, I'm just adding on to the light that was already there, you know? So I hope that visually makes sense for people that could understand what I was saying. But yeah, my life has just been lifing, and times right now are it's favorable and unfavorable. It just depends on which areas and in which ways. But I'm learning a lot, honestly, about myself. I'm just also having more revelations about life, and that I don't want to say that life is short, because I feel like life is very long and very beautiful. Life is what you make it, and life, and where it's not what you're making out of life, it's where it's not what you have made of life, is what you're making out of the life that you've been given. I hope that makes sense. So life is what you make it. And there's also times where life, you're just in a circumstance of life that it's like, okay, what am I going to make out of this life that I have? And that's been my mentality. What am I going to make out of the life that I currently have? But also, what am I making my life? And by doing this podcast, by even recording this episode, I am, the person of me, the person that is recording podcast episodes, that is just doing what she loves and what makes her, happy and bring joy to her. That's the person that I envision when I close my eyes. And I'm being that person right now in my experience, in my current reality, that is unfavorable to me. That was once someone who wasn't doing that. Like, I had so much going on in life that I'm just like, I feel too defeated to even try to create. I feel too defeated to even try to do anything different. And a wise woman once said, you must face many defeats, but you must never be defeated. That wise woman was Maya Angelou. I love her so much. And that has also been a quote that's been sticking in my head. It's okay to face defeats. It's okay to get knocked down. But as long as you can get knocked down 9 times, but as long as you get up that 10th time, that's all that matters. So that to me is also like, I'm facing all these defeats. I'm facing all these unfavorable things. I'm currently living this unfavorable experience in this unfavorable part and chapter of my life. But I'm not feeling defeated. I'm not going to allow that to defeat me, because I know there's more. I know there's beauty in all of this. I know there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But right now, while I'm in this tunnel, I'm going to be that light for myself. I'm going to be the light, and that's what I've been. I've been the light for myself and other people. And I have faced many defeats. I'm still facing some defeats, but I am not defeated. I can have times where I'm like, oh, I'm defeated, I'm tapping out. But God gonna give me that strength. I'm gonna give myself that strength to like, girl, no, you're gonna get up and you're gonna keep going. Right? Because life goes on, but you're the one that's going to curate how life is going to continue on for you in your life. And that's what I'm doing. I'm being that person to be like, how is my life going to go on? Like, what am I going to do differently? What is it? And I feel like also, because I've been feeling so stagnant I've been feeling so stagnant and just so out of place. Like, it will be a couple of episodes for me to really talk about in depth of so much that's been happening in life and just my overall growth as a person. But I just been feeling so stagnant and feeling as if like just it don't matter what I do, it's not really contributing to me getting to where it is I'm trying to go. And I've had to get rid of that mindset. Like, no, even the smallest millicentimeter of movement is bigger than absolutely none. And so I've just been trying to really get back into the space of being that reminder for myself, like, life is going to do what it's going to do. There is so much in the unknown that we don't know what it is. And I've also been content and really allowing myself to be content with this idea, with the mindset of like, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't even know what's going to happen the rest of this day. Truly. So I can close my eyes and envision all these beautiful things that I know is going to materialize in my life and actually happen physically. And then when I open my eyes, I see this current unfavorable reality. But even an hour after me waking up, it could be something completely, a piece of what it is that I just envisioned in my head. And honestly, like, you know, some days stuff like that has happened where I would envision something and kind of sitting in that, wake up and I'm like, okay, well, it's not what I just been dreaming about, because I have dreams. Like, I be dreaming about everything that there is under the sun, and I be seeing, you know, my life and my future and things like that. But yeah, y'all, life has been lifing, and it's life like it's never like before. But just know, I'm sure other people's lives have been life. And I just had a conversation with my friend, and we just kind of gave ourselves an update on our lives and how much has been going on. And it's like, oh, life really has been life. And it's like, yeah, life, she's been doing a big one. Her biggest number. Well, one of the biggest numbers, because the biggest one that's going to the biggest number to happen in your life is going to be that most favorable one. It's going to be the one that you're like, this is what I've been dreaming of. This is what I've been holding on to. This is what I've been envisioning for myself. And so that big number, the grandiose number, you know, scene hasn't happened just yet for me. But it also allows me to know, like, just how my life is lifing, I know other people's lives are as well. And to just really be more compassionate and empathetic and sympathetic of other people. And know, like, you know, life is happening to all of us, truly. And it's been a huge, just eye-opener experience. But yeah, life has been lifing, and I've been finding my why as to what's really motivating me to keep going and to continue on. And right now, it's been me being my own light in my own darkness. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I probably was talking all over the place, a little bit not as structured, but it's been on my heart, and I'm just grateful for this moment to even talk about this and to release this episode. So we're back and better, and we're gonna be start releasing more episodes. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Gift of Gab podcast. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at thegiftofgab_pod. I will speak to you all next week. Thank you guys so much. Continue to grow, accept, and become someone greater than you are now.